You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, working towards a mintier world with Trebor Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
That was Devo with Whip It. Not Whip It as in...
Your pets?
Yeah, not the sort of small version of the greyhound.
Who you were reared with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you on? Is your mic on? I can't hear you
I
very
don't
well.
know.
I can't hear you over here at all.
God.
Oh, it started very badly.
Some people will think that's a good thing.
Not... Well, those people can... I'll write it down. I'll write it down what they can do.
Okay.
I'm not going to say.
Oh, no, I can't say that one here.
No, don't ever think about it. Oh, I did some good... let me tell you this. I forgot about this. You know, one of my things is pedestrian racing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm in case you don't know this, new readers start here. I walk very fast. I just do, naturally. And sometimes people try to overtake me. I won't have it.
No.
I'm in cars, but I'm in other pedestrians. So
My
there's
goodness.
a sea lion act rehearsing next door. I look forward for that sort of, people call it applause, but really it's flipper against flipper. I mean, they don't know what they're doing. You can't call it applause. There's no motivation. They're not pleased or approving in any way. They're just trying to hit their rudders together. So I was walking down there. This guy, I could feel him on the shoulder. He thought I'll overtake him. So I did my normal thing. I increased my tempo. So we had, I'd say, 50 yards, maybe 100, of walking shoulder to shoulder with him trying to get past me, keeping neither drawing away nor drawing back, just keeping at his side. So suddenly, like mates, I could sense his edginess. And just to rob in the fact that he couldn't overtake me, I texted in the very heat of the heat of the race.
That's cold.
I mean, imagine if in Ben-Hur, Charlton Heston had started texting just as that other chariot's right side, the wheels are touching.
Oh, yeah, I like that. When
bit?
the spikes come out, that's my favourite.
When I say Ben-Hur, for those of you, that is the name of the... I wasn't trying to remember the surname of the bloke. I wasn't going Ben... Yeah. Ben... that's his name. Anyway...
It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been historically accurate, but then there is supposed to be in Ben-Hur like a guy with sunglasses on and stuff, isn't there?
What?
Because there's so many extras in Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
There's like stories about there's
see.
a guy with sunglasses if you look hard enough, and you can see a sports car in one scene.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so.
You sure you haven't got Ben-Hur mixed up with the Chilean miners coverage?
Oh, they look good in shades.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Shades crazy.
it was the Shades Akimbo.
Shades Akimbo, that's what I'm going to call a band if I ever form one. So oh dear, what a weekend I had.
What happened?
Well, we had an email, didn't we, about...
Someone texted in.
They're very observant, our listeners.
Have you got it, Gad, to hand? Because I can't move.
You can't move.
My microphone's in a strange place and I can't
Emily's
move.
a little bit paralysed over
But basically, this woman had asked what your brown bag was doing in the corner because she saw it on the webcam.
She spotted my brown bag.
Yeah.
So, Frank, what's in the big brown bag? Saw you in the webcam last week.
Yeah.
Looking in your big brown bag.
Is that a song?
I think so. Big brown eyes.
I had an image of something. Wasn't there a Wigs song that went... You get in a big brown bag? Wasn't it?
What's
by the
her
way,
name?
you can text us on 81215. If anyone's listening thinking these people need rescuing, text us
Amanda
on 812.
Taunton.
Okay.
Yes, said... Oh, no, I won't give her email address.
Amanda Thornton?
Amanda Taunton.
Oh, Taunton, okay.
I don't know if it was brown. Sorry, Amanda. I would describe it as tan/ochre.
Well, I'd say tan is... Anyway, look, I went away for the weekend, and I went to Caradoc at Tregardoc, which is...
What is that?
It's a cottage. It's a big cottage. It's a sort of it's a yoga centre.
Right.
Right? Don't look at me like that. I went away for a yoga weekend. The idea was to relax. I mean, just for a couple of days, to relax, to chill out.
And did you go with Kat?
To find the inner me. Do you know the inner me?
No, I don't believe we've been acquainted.
But it's that little bloke in the grey suit in Austin Powers. That's him, isn't it?
Inner me.
Oh, no. So I went down there, but things went very wrong.
Oh, no. I love it when things go wrong.
Yeah. Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you after this.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Boy George is our guest.
Oh, yeah, I like him.
Well, that's exciting, isn't it?
I'm very excited.
Oh, he's a proper big star.
Boy George.
I've always quite adored him. You told me I was a bit starstruck yesterday because I was
You were
going on and on about him.
Well, you kept calling him George, you see. And it's a thing about, if your name is Boy George, I suppose people that you don't.
Can't call him boy.
You can't.
Sounds
Don't call him.
Come here,
If
boy.
if he comes in, don't call him boy. That's my advice. I don't want him to walk in and walk straight out again. No, so anyway, Boy George is on. We should have, if anyone wants to ask Boy George anything, you can text in a question.
On 81215.
We'll see what happens. A bit like Twitter Tombola on Gonzo.
Okay. Frank.
Yeah, on 81215, yeah.
Lara has texted in.
Lara.
Hey, they're loving your show.
Just a minute. What is that Lara's theme from Dr. Zhivago? Obviously, that's on a barrel organ.
Yeah, very good. Lara says, loving your show, so what is in the brown bag?
Well, it was all my, it was my mat, my yoga mat.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, my,
all the gubbins.
It was, you see, I did, I know yoga is regarded as a very, can I say poncy? Hold on. No. It's regarded as a bit hoity-toity, but I started doing it a few years ago, basically because I was doing a TV show with David Baddiel, and he said he wanted massages and paid for by the production, yeah. And I thought, if he's getting something paid for by the production, I am damned if I'm not going to get something, so I went for yoga anyway. I was a bit worried because they do a lot of the chanting is you're chanting to, the gods of the East. Okay?
Right.
And I don't know how, for me being a Catholic, I don't know how the Pope's going to be about me chanting to the multi-headed blue elephant god. Right. So I...
Vishnu's one of my favourites.
Is that what it... Okay. Anyway, well, what happened... Anyway, I do a kind of a Catholic yoga, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, you get flexible, but there's more guilt. So, anyway, we went to this place in Cornwall, me and my girlfriend, and we went off to do some chanting on the Saturday night, right? Now, I don't join in with the blue elephant chanting. They're going Hare Krishna, and I'm under my breath going, say Merry Christmas. It mixes in, but it's got the Christian theme. Right, so... We're there, and Kath, my girlfriend, has...
What was that? Sounds like river dance.
Yeah, well, there's an element to that. Okay. I like to bring a little flatly into everything. I do. So, my girlfriend has got a chest infection, so she had a coughing fit. Well, you don't want a coughing fit in a chanting session. You're trying to get cosmic.
You don't want a coffin fit in an Undertaker's. Because that would be...
Well, you want it. You don't want one that's a bit tight under the arms. So anyway, so she dashed out. So we carried on chanting for about half an hour. I got in the room, and what had happened, she'd run across the lawn, barefoot, in the dark, kicked an upturned cauldron. Don't ask.
Cauldron?
Yeah, I don't know what other weekends they have there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they did Macbeth as the Christmas play. Don't mention Macbeth. That's bad luck, isn't it?
Not an absolute radio.
Oh, isn't it? Oh,
no, we were planning.
Do we have absolution?
We were planning to do Macbeth later in the show, so it might be bad luck.
Is that right?
Right.
Are us three going to dress as witches and by George, we're going to tell him he's Thane of Cawdor? Apparently he loves that.
Can I just say something? Tut, Emily, the elephant-headed goth is Ganesh, not Vishnu.
God. The elephant-headed goth, did you say?
God.
I was going to say, I'd like to see the elephant-headed... How much black hair would that need to have to cover all that?
Noel Fielding.
Was that a trunk call? So, so she ran across the thing and she kicked an upset and... she was calling out for help. She broke her toe. Of course, we couldn't hear her over the chanting. You see, I started off with "Sing When You're Winning." That was my first one, and then I did my favourite chant of all time: "We will follow the Albion over land and sea and water," which I've never worked out ever. Anyway, so when I went in, she said I broke my toe, and I said, yeah, because she's an exaggerator.
Was she crying? I would have been crying.
She looked shaken, I think that's fair to say, because we were so chilled out. She said I broke my toe. Oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So I looked at it, and I said, if she's just stopped it. I looked at it, it was at a 90-degree, it was just sticking out at the side. I looked at it, and I think one can have visions, possibly, after an half an hour of chanting. And I had a vision of me sitting in A&E at 4 o'clock in the morning. And sure enough, that proved to be true. I like this. It's become a serial.
Frank, you've got to do what I did when I broke my toe, which is I just got Philip Schofield's driver to take me to A&E. It's much easier.
Yeah. Does he live in the Bodmin area?
I don't know. But I broke my toe. It is very painful. I want to hear more about this.
I imagine he's a hectic driver, because they do say when Marie Antoinette was driven through the crowds when she'd been arrested during the French Revolution, that her hair went completely white overnight, so she was so horrified. So how dangerously does Philip Schofield's driver drive? That's what you got to ask yourself.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
White Stripes.
Well, Frank, talking of White Stripes, we've just had...
Don't blame me.
We've just had a text in from Lisa in Essex. Hi, Frank and team. You mentioned about hair turning white with shock. This happened to my uncle the other day after his frying pan caught on fire while he was using it.
The other day?
Next day his hair was pure white. Quite incredible.
Was he doing meringues? So he was fired?
No.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that extraordinary?
That's in that Crash Test Dummy song with the song where it goes, turn from black into bright white.
Oh, is it?
I've got all the song references.
I don't know why, because this doesn't
Big Brown Eyes is a Bob Marley song as well, by the way.
It's all gone a bit...
Something.
a bit Joe Whiteley. Joe Whiteley, is that
Joe
her name?
Whiteley. Joe Wiley. She's had a bit
Joe
of a shock
Whiteley,
there.
that's it. Oh, soon they forget their showbiz.
She turned to Whiteley when she had a shock recently.
Yeah, exactly. She was driven through Paris after she had a snowboarding accident. She snowboarded, didn't she, Joe Whiteley? Yeah, she mentioned it quite a lot. You know, when people, as they move towards their middle years, do sort of exciting things, they talk about it a lot in a kind of a Dr. Fox, I've got a big motorbike, I'm not dead yet kind of a way. Yeah, I don't do anything exciting apart from the odd yoga weekend. Have you got any other texts just to keep things flowing?
Got some lovely texts. Frank, is Emily coming to Liverpool soon? She's a bit of a spinner. I'd show her around. 239.
Spinner?
Oh, thank you, 239.
What does that mean, though?
Does it mean she makes her own thread?
Any
wheel.
Scouse ones listening?
Spinning wheel?
Can you please text in and tell us what spinner means? Because I don't know.
There used to be a band called The Spinners, who I think came from Liverpool.
I really like Liverpool.
Was it the
I love
brother?
Scousers.
The heart of man keeps growing, the heart of man keeps growing.
Gather around the fireside,
Didn't they
children.
do,
Listen to Uncle Frank's songs.
They did what I always see as the precursor to Ebony and Ivory. The ink is black, the page is white. Together we'll learn to read and write. Remember
It's a
it?
good one, yeah, I sang that at school.
Yeah, that was the Spinners.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, do they mean you're some sort of folk singer character?
I don't know.
Nylon roll neck jumper, medallion over the top. Is that what they're saying?
Text in 81215 on what is a spinner.
That's
Keep
the
it
most
clean.
professional
Keep it clean.
thing Garrett's ever done on this show. Keep it clean.
Emily,
Keep your spinner clean.
We've had another text. Emily, buy your dream home. Financial circumstances always improve eventually. You might
Hold on, let me just... Financial circumstances always improve
Sound like Carol
eventually.
Vorderman on daytime TV.
Is that true?
Sounds like the Lehman Brothers.
Yeah.
I need
Was there
to
something...
take a moment to let that quite sophisticated financial joke sink in.
I'm starting to think that the real Gareth is in a cupboard with sticking tape over his mouth. Sticking tape over his mouth going, and we've got some sort of...
Yeah.
Someone who's awake has turned up.
Some shock jock.
Is it because you had a Happy Meal at McDonald's on the way in?
That made me feel so sick when I heard that.
It made you feel sick, and he ate it. Imagine how he felt.
I'm sorry to break this to you. It wasn't a Happy Meal. It was a bacon XL bacon double cheeseburger.
Yeah, funnily enough, I don't know the subtleties between the two meals. It's fine.
Can you get a melancholy meal to go with the Happy Meal, and just to say you
uppers
can
and downers?
You know, mood meals. You could bet a burger that changed colour.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it'll come. It will come. It will come. It will surely come.
So what
financial circumstances always improve eventually. You might meet your dinky within months. Your fan 990.
Oh, I'd love to meet my dinky.
I haven't met my dinky for a few months.
Do you know what a dinky is, Frank?
Text in
No
what's
idea.
a dinky on 81215.
I know what a dinky is.
Oh, okay. Don't text in.
No, it's clean. It's double income, no kids. Suits me down to the ground.
Double income.
So it means, yeah.
Rich man.
I don't. That's a dink, isn't it?
Oh, come on, don't split hairs between dinkies. It's dinky, double income, no kids, so it means you're a kind of urban metropolitan couple, is how I like to see it.
Double income, no kids, I expect, would be dinky.
Oh, okay.
Double incomes, no kids, yes?
Yes. I didn't like I wasn't sure about the accent. But, you know, we'll let it pass.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
That's the Phantom Band, Into the Corn. Can I recommend their new album, which is fantastic. I've done that now. It's gone very Joe Wiley, indeed. Do I snowboard? Do I buffalo? So I ended up...
before you do this, can I just say, we were saying double income, no kids, and we said, what does the Y mean? Dinky. We've had loads of people saying it means yet. They haven't left their names.
Double income, no kids yet,
137...
137,
536 and 060.
No, don't read that 060 out because they're called Dumbos.
Can you not do that thing of when Boy George is here? Can you not do the thing of calling people by their numbers? Yeah, just get over that. Okay, I'm gonna have a bit of respect. So there I am. My girlfriend's got a broken toe. I'm at the yoga retreat. New readers start here, and. So we had to go. First of all, I didn't have a car with me, because I went by train, so I had to get a cab. It's 2:00 in the morning. We had to go to Truro A&E.
Wow.
Got
that's
there
in Cornwall,
at 2.
isn't it? Yeah.
Can you imagine what... I spent the night in Truro, where people look like Subo. And, not all of them. I'd say 80%.
Getting some texts in now, just coming in.
Oh, no. Will they be fans of Truro or fans of Subo? Oh, you'll never know. So I got there, and when we got there, there was... I'm not going to use the term, but there's a famous sort of double act that's in Viz Comics, 2 women that wear short little black dresses. They seem to be outside having a cigarette. I think they had a friend being operated on.
Oh dear! We won't ask what had happened.
No, you can imagine. True. The people at work there were absolutely lovely, but there were some people in there who I think had been drinking.
They're all God's children.
Yeah, they are. But some of them was the prodigal son. There was a man covered in blood. Imagine my horror. Covered in blood, saying to this nurse, "No, all you need, you see, is a bit of fresh air." And I thought, that won't do it, will it? You'll require stitches, surely. So that's where we went, and they were. People always say about the nurses, they were really nice.
Yeah.
But they were really nice, and. So she had the toe.
They're always quite relieved when you're not drunk as well, aren't they?
I think they couldn't believe.
Yeah,
I noticed the first person said, "So when did it happen?" And I thought, what, do I look that old? And of course she couldn't imagine that I wasn't absolutely smashed or stoned or whatever. So anyway, they did a foot up beautifully, but they didn't have any crutches. Oh. Can you imagine that? At Truro A&E. So she had to hop.
Well, they're using them all for the drunks, aren't they?
Well, she had to hop for a day and a half.
Did she?
She had to switch to a sports bra. It's true. She said this hopping is absolutely... Well, I won't say what she said. But,
once again, just do what I did. Just use Philip Schofield's driver. That's how you get about.
Well, he just holds on.
Oh, yeah.
Well, instead of a sports bra, you mean? I was going to say he's a little forward, Philip Schofield's driver. If he's listening, get out. So anyway, that was... we ended up... We got to Paddington Station, and for the first time in my life, those sort of electric trucks that drive people on... You see them with old
sort of
people
Joan Collins ones at the airport,
the ones that make a noise go, ooh, ooh, if you get in the way. One of them came to pick her up, because they saw her on crutches, and I actually drove through the crowd sitting on one. I think they couldn't see her bad leg. They thought I'd just got a celebrity lift to the end of the thing. I waved to a couple of people, which didn't help. And I thought, this truly is, this is what fame is all about.
I thought you were the new Pope.
Exactly. Yeah, the Pope's stunt double has been sent for a second run. Lap of honour. And then the man driving it said, "So how come you're not on telly anymore?" So that was ruined.
Had to go back to A&E.
Yeah, I had to send my ego into A&E. It was completely fractured.
Frank Frank on
Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Gareth, you're looking like you trying to attract my attention.
I wasn't trying to attract your attention. Do you know what winds me up sometimes?
I don't know, but I wish it had turned up this morning. Carry on.
What do you mean? I've been very perky.
Oh, okay.
I've been very parky. I haven't been very parky, because if I had been parky, I would have been slagging everybody off.
Can you say slagging everybody off? Let me just check that in the Absolute. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
Michael Parkinson, you mean?
Yes, he's been having a go at Russell Brand.
Oh, yes, he doesn't like him.
Which,
he says, what's the point of Russell Brand?
That's not Parkinson. He says, I don't see the point of him, frankly.
Down to the point of him. A lovely thing to say about another human being.
Would you pick up a book called A Bookie Wook? Come on, Bookie Wook. What kind of stuff is that?
What kind of stuff is that? I think that's what's happened. He's picked up the book. There's something on it. It's soiled in some way, and he said, "What kind of stuff is that?"
And they put a personal copy from Russell Brand.
They must have. What do you mean by that?
This was when he was being interviewed by Richard Bacon, wasn't he?
Yeah. It does seem to be his thing, he's criticising, because he did a big thing about how all chat show hosts are rubbish, which he does annually. He comes around, it's a bit like Whitson, Michael Parkinson slagging off the...
He's missed the boat a bit with Russell Brand, though. That's a bit 5 minutes ago, having a go at Russell Brand. He's missed...
I also liked when I heard that.
He says he thinks that Saxgate was wrong.
Does he say that?
Yeah. Fancy.
Well, that's a whole new perspective on it.
He thinks they shouldn't have made that phone call.
Well, I once met Roy Slow Talker Walker, who you may remember was the host of Catchphrase.
Oh yes, yeah. I used to like It's Good But It's Not Right.
Yeah,
good, and not right. That's what Saxgate. They said about Saxgate.
Can you stop talking about Saxgate?
Yeah,
please.
Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Saxophone, I call it. So anyway, Shut up
about Saxgate.
So Roy Walker said to me that he was once with Eric Morecambe.
Yeah.
In the car park of the BBC. I love any story that starts like this. And this was in the time when Michael Parkinson was a bit of a cool dude back in the 70s.
Really?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was seen as a bit of a sex symbol, Michael Parkinson. He was. And so he's like 70s, very 70s time. They're waiting for the lift to go up into the studios. The door opens. There's Michael Parkinson, he says, in a full-length black leather coat.
Well, Ron Atkinson.
And a black leather cap. A matching black leather cap.
Like the Matrix.
Yeah, he's standing there like that. And Eric Morecambe says, all right, Parky, have you come as a wallet? And I think he's been bitter ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, now, as we know, he advertises death on daytime television. And apparently you get a pen just for inquiring about death, which is a good thing. So you're anti-Parky, then?
Well, he says you don't have to be particularly talented to have a career in Hollywood. He's still talking about Russell Brand. He said, I would say he's been a very lucky man. I mean, Rin Tin Tin had a very big career in Hollywood, and he was a dog.
So not a very lucky man.
No. Also, Rin Tin Tin was working around 1918, so that's quite an ancient reference.
Well, I remember we used to have a kids cinema club thing at the local Regent Cinema in Langley Green, and we went, they had Yellow Submarine on. Well, Yellow Submarine is a cartoon, but no one had really checked that it's not really a kids' film. And I remember somebody about 10 minutes into this is the Beatles we're talking about, somebody shouted, "Get Rin Tin Tin back on!" So I'll always remember that better than the Beatles in Langley Green. Boy George is our guest after the news, which is
excited.
It is exciting. There's no getting round it. And unfortunately, the next song we're playing is called "Back on the Chain Gang," which I feel people will think we've themed now.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Treebor Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
I love Boy George so much that I actually feel a bit nervous about him coming on. Yeah, I do.
I think we're all a bit nervous. It's Boy George. I remember watching him on Top of the Pops, and people in the pop saying, "Did you see that bloke? Apparently he's from Birmingham." I read my fact sheet on Boy George. He's not from... I always assumed he was a Brummie.
He's not a Brummie.
I think we tried to claim him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway.
So we've had a text in, Frank. Hi, Frank. When you're pedestrian racing, do you ever adopt the gait of marathon walkers to show you mean business? I do.
Oh, that one when... that is, obviously, I can't do it on radio. The whole idea is your feet a part of your feet is at all times on the ground. Have you ever tried it?
Otherwise, it's jogging.
Yes, I have tried that.
The wiggly walk.
Well, yeah, it's sort of wiggly. Yeah, it looks like a man has got a toffee, and he's trying to chew it
up. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I wasn't going to use the word up.
No,
I thought, you pushed it too far, which is obviously bad news. Now I tried it. It's so difficult. You get all pains in your leg muscles, but I don't do that anyway. You can't do that. It's like if you see a man running in the street or a woman and they've got their running gear on. I see it all the time round because I live near the river.
A man running, honey, I see that a lot as well.
Yeah,
lying around.
I didn't mean to bring that up. I meant in my direction. And you see people running, you think nothing of it. They've got their gear on, but then I find in central London, you see someone running who hasn't got sports gear on. You become completely terrified. You think there's someone's going to get shot. So think on. So what about the miners? I want to talk about the miners.
I want to talk about the miners. I've already picked out 2 to have hot crushes on. Number 4 and number 16. That's another story.
Are they just numbered now, the miners?
Well, no, but I've learnt their names.
Difficult names.
Because
have you?
Daniel Herrera, number 16, 37 and single. He was what I called paramedic miner because he attended to their needs down there, apparently.
Oh, did he?
And there's baby miner, who's Jimmy Sanchez. He was the little one, the teen one.
He's the one who...
Jimmy Sanchez.
He's gone into a sulk, hasn't he, since?
Has he? Why?
I think they said he didn't talk to anyone in the office. They were worried about him. He was...
Oh, I can't bear people like that down there. Just get on with it.
Well, that's what I think. Put yourself together, Jim. I mean, I'm saying a sulk. It could be some terrible post-traumatic thingy, so I don't want to lay
who I like is I think he's number 4. No.
Oh, yeah, number 4. I know that one you mean.
Victor Zamora, who I call Comedy Miner. He was the Joker, apparently. And he's got quite a good comedy name, Victor Zamora.
Is he the one who brought rocks up as presents?
I think he might have, yeah.
I think you'll find he was number 2.
Oh,
but I don't want
to.
I think they missed a trick when they were coming up out of that pod. What they should have done is have the old theatrical trap door and a puff of smoke as everyone appears. Because they came and then you saw all that there to be unstrapped. They should have had a platform built so all that was hidden underground, all the unstrapping, and then they just go up, da-da! But the shades, to be able to legitimately wear shades...
Yeah. Oh, they look cool in
their
shades.
They all look cool.
Yeah, and they had a reason. So it's not like they were doing it, as you say, for kind of like rock star, trying to look cool versions. They just did inherently look cool.
Did they send the shades down to them so they could wear them?
They did. They sent the shades down. Yeah,
Oh.
A shipment was sent.
What do you think of number 21, cheating miner?
Oh, cheating miner. Well, there's more than one cheating miner, isn't there? He's the one who said he's going to continue to have his wife and his mistress.
Oh. I like that in him.
Well, you'd have thought that time underground would have given him time to think things through and make a positive decision. What I liked is that West Brom defender Gonzalo Jara, who's a very good player, can I say, who's Chilean, he sent them a signed shirt while they were underground.
Did he?
That's just what you need. If that didn't lift their spirits, what would? That was Cruisers Creek by The Fall, and By George is in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's fabulous to see you. I have to say, we were all admitted that we were all a little bit nervous before you came in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I have that reputation, but I'm lovely.
No, it weren't so much that. It was, you see someone on top of the pops, and then you're all talking about it in the pub at the time when you're working in a factory, and then suddenly you're sitting next to them.
Well, speak for yourself.
Oh, sorry. Obviously, Emily never worked in a
Emily's
factory.
quite glamorous.
Emily's
Very
already
glamorous.
fretting about the word quite. In that sense.
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean. Very glamorous.
So, George, I want to start by saying that you are very, very busy at the moment, because usually people plug one thing on this show, but you're doing loads.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of making up for lost time, because I...
Lost time? Don't know what you mean.
It's a period where I couldn't travel for about 8 months, so... yeah, I'm sort of like in a bit of a frenzy, but it's great. It's great to be working, and it's nice to be busy. I like doing things.
Yeah.
I love doing stuff, so I'm happy when I'm busy.
Can I ask, when you was in prison, did you? Is it a time? Because everybody thinks, wouldn't it be great to just get off the merry-go-round for a bit and sit and think about your life and blah blah? Do you get to do all that stuff, or is it just people rattling metal tins against bars?
You do get a lot of time on your own, and at a certain point, you do actually think, oh, this is actually quite good, because you get time to think. The only thing is, it's kind of an enforced sort of situation. So
a little bit.
it's not like going to India, you know. Because the last time I kind of had that experience was when I went to India in the 90s, when I sort of really felt like I had some time to me. But that was a different kind of experience. But it wasn't that dissimilar. I mean, I got to read a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I read a lot. I read all the books that I thought I'd read. Everything from kind of, Wuthering Heights to Catcher in the Rye, Catch-22. I read everything. So I thought, well, have I read this? Or I'm just pretending that I've read it. So I read all that. And that was a really good thing.
See, already I'm getting sentence envy.
To be honest, when I knew I was being released, I did have a moment of like, oh, do I really want to go? And I thought, people talk about people being institutionalised.
Yeah.
I did actually think, well, I can understand why. Because you know what you're doing. I had a really good job. I worked in the kitchen. I really liked the people I worked with. And when I left, they were actually really sad that I was going.
Was it like when you leave a job? Did they?
Well,
did
the
they have a leaving
the
party?
last week, you don't have to work, and I went in every day. And people were like, why are you
Really?
going in? And I was like, well, what am I going to do? Sit in my cell all day? Of course I'm going to go in. And they actually said to me, oh, you're one of the best workers we've ever had here.
Oh, marvellous.
Yeah.
I'm a grafter.
Yeah.
I think that freedom from responsibility, I would quite like that aspect.
Well,
Well, because it
back to
becomes
the
really
womb.
normal. You see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
After a while, when you first get there, it's like, oh God, you just would do anything to not be there.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of settle in, and people have got over sort of shouting out Karma Chameleon and whatever else they want to shout out.
Yeah.
Once they got bored of that,
Yeah.
then you just become another person. That's there, and that's when it kind of gets a bit easier.
I must say, I felt sorry for George Michael coming out the same week as the Miners. he was overlooked, wasn't he?
I'm sure he was probably quite pleased though.
So, I just want to start off with the first thing is that you're working with Mark Ronson.
Yes, so I've just been doing some gigs with him. He's gone off to America, and unfortunately I can't go to America at the moment. So he's off doing that, but the single comes out on December the 6th.
You're not allowed in because of...
I'm not allowed into America, quite a few places, but there's lots of other places I can go.
Yes. Okay. They need to learn to forgive and forget, don't
Yeah.
they?
Well, we're quite forgiving this way
They're-
over. We let anyone in.
I know, they're very
Yeah,
uptight over
Yeah,
there.
I think we should kind of change the rules a bit, really.
Well, I'm all for free movement. Yeah, You've done your time, George.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We only have this excerpt. This is Frank Skinner
Absolute.
Radio.
Boy George is with us. And George, you were just... I nearly called you Boy then. That would have been a very difficult moment. Is there a problem being called Boy George as
In
as a man
America,
gets a little
everyone
older?
calls me boy.
Do they?
Yeah, or Mr. George, yeah, and I just smile.
Oh, I like Mr. George. I thought you could extend it to Boyd George, and then it sounds a bit like Lloyd George. It gives you some gravitas. Anyway, the Mark Ronson thing, you didn't really say what you and him were doing together.
Well, I've done a track on his album with Mike Snow, who was sort of like a duet, basically. And
Can I own up? I don't know who Mike Snow
he
is.
did that song Animal, great song called Animal, which you'll love.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. Very good writer. He wrote it, Mike Snow wrote it with, I think, Mark, and it's quite a whole cast of people. One of the Libertines and one of the drums. It's a whole
Yeah.
drama, but it's very good. Very good track.
It's all gone a bit Feed the World again, hasn't it, really?
Not quite. But I've done a few gigs with him over the past few weeks, and yeah, it's been really good fun, actually. Nice guy.
So apart from the Mark Ronson, you've also got a sort of classical tour.
Yeah, I'm going off tomorrow to Arnhem to rehearse with this 70-piece orchestra, which is part of this kind of Night for the Proms thing that they do in Europe, which is huge. And it's kind of classic. It's a bit like that we do here. It's classical artists, and they chuck a few sort of contemporary peeps in for good measure. And
Right.
I'm doing that with Sir Cliff,
Oh, really?
Grace Jones, and Kid Creole and the Coconuts are doing it.
What a fabulous combo.
Yes, it's going to be quite interesting.
Do you know Sir Cliff then? Have you met him?
No, I only met him once in an airport, and I was wearing this Jesus Christ is a Real Thing t-shirt, and I think he got a bit like, it's like, no, being ironic.
Yeah.
But I've never met him properly. I'm looking forward to meeting him now, actually.
Yeah, I interviewed... He's nice, actually. I
Yeah,
think.
he always comes across quite nice, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw those pictures of him in his Speedos in the paper.
Amazing, I know.
He looked unbelievable.
Very well preserved.
I must dig those out.
No,
I haven't
he looks
seen them.
everywhere on the
internet.
Oh,
Looks great.
lovely.
But as I said at the time, he doesn't need love handles. so what's the point? And you've also got a single out.
On Monday, yeah. Pentonville Blues.
So tell us about that, George.
Well, I wrote it when I was on holiday.
Yes.
At the health farm.
I was actually only in Pentonville for a few days, but it does leave an impression because it's kind of like a classical. It's like all the prisons you see in movies. So when you first go in there, you know, it's like being in a movie. You just literally, oh my God, I'm in Scum or whatever.
I mean, do they actually? This sounds like a naive question. Do they still have bars on the doors, or is that all?
Oh yeah.
Because when you see it sometimes in films, it's just like a peephole and a solid metal.
Yeah, no. Well, it is. Yeah, there's a hole in the door, but there's bars on the windows.
Okay.
And a toilet in the corner with a sort of horrible plastic. The thing is, I hate saying all this stuff because it sounds like I'm feeling sorry for myself, which I'm not. I'm just.
Well, no, you were
describing.
celebrating what a great time you had in the last week. I'm calling this the other. It's dark and light. This.
Well, Pentonville is. I think what they do is they put you in those holding prisons to shock you.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea, that you go there. I mean, Pentonville is quite stinky.
Yeah.
It's not the nicest place I've been to.
Okay.
And then the next place
I like George's review
oh my
of
God, you know.
Pentonville. It's
Well, it's a bit of-
What I like is, you know, I never thought for a second, George, it was the nicest place you've ever been to.
No, but you know, you expect a bit of sanitation.
Well, no. I know.
This isn't the sort of, you know. It's
I
not
know. They
1930s.
haven't thought it through.
Obviously not. But no, it's not a holiday camp.
No.
As you say, you know. But I think those sort of places, like the holding prisons, are a bit run down. And I think maybe, I don't know, my theory is that they put you there to kind of horrify you and then they send you somewhere a bit nicer.
So this song is about being in Pentonville?
Yes, it's called the Pentonville Blues, and it's more about kind of the emotional aspect. Because, you know, people talk about tough guys in prison, but actually they all cry when the mums come.
Yeah.
The truth is that actually no one's really that tough when you strip away the kind of, you know, the veneer.
No. I agree with that. And it's in that tradition of sort of Oscar Wilde writing the Ballad of Reading Jail. and
Well,
all
I couldn't
that.
not do it, do you know what I mean? It was, I just...
Well, it's a big event in your life.
Exactly.
Anyway, let's hear Pentonville Blues.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
That was Pentonville Blues by Boy George.
I
can't
love
say
that.
He made us sit in absolute silence.
Did,
to every word. So you might be going back to Pentonville. This is not, I mean,
Yeah, no,
deliberately.
we might be going back to perform. I did that record with a group called Glide and Swerve, and we might be going back to kind of do a little performance there, which I'm hoping will happen. It'll be great.
It'll be like Johnny Cash and St Quentin.
Yeah, it'll be great to do it. Because I went back recently to visit a friend and sort of thought, oh, do I really want to go back there? When I got there, actually, it was quite nice. You know, people were quite friendly to me and stuff. So I was like, right, George.
An old boy.
Yeah, it was really nice.
one of
I
ours.
really was terrified. I thought, oh, do I want to go back? You know, but yeah, it was nice. So
I think it's like Las Vegas. It's nice to visit. But you don't want to stay
I say
there.
that about quite a lot of places.
Now, you're also touring with a thing called Here and Now,
Yes.
which is a kind of a celebration of the 80s, I think it's fair
It
to
is,
say.
yeah. It's a kind of big old 80s party. I've done a few of them actually this year, and they're great. They're really good fun. Something I probably wouldn't have done 10 years ago.
No, well, I was gonna say-
I would have run screaming.
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting. I think people often do them because they don't have any other work. So it's great that you're doing a thing with Mark Ronson and a classical orchestra tour, and you're still doing one anyway.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of kind of reclaiming of the 80s for me in the last kind of 5 years, because I did have a big problem with it for a while. I'm actually doing a Culture Club reunion as well in 2012.
Are you?
In for a penny, in for a pound.
That's very
Have you
exciting.
kept in touch with all those guys?
Yeah, we have, and you know, they did that kind of very ill-fated attempt to reform without me. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Which obviously didn't go down too well. We
No.
didn't speak for very long.
Can I say,
Quite a while after
George
that.
said that with a very warm smile on his face.
But no, we don't talk about that ever. No one mentions it. But
What a fabulous elephant in the room. that
exactly.
is.
But we've got our 30-year anniversary is in 2012. So if we don't do it then,
years.
we'll have to do it when we're 60, which probably wouldn't be quite as pretty. So I've kind of instigated this because I think it would be a really good send-off in a way for us.
What did you think of the drama that they did recently on the telly, which
I thought it looked brilliant, and I thought the acting was fantastic. I thought Douglas was really
Douglas
good. I thought
was
You were
lovely.
You
Yeah.
were
Great
beautiful,
job.
if you don't mind me
Absolutely,
saying.
it was lovely. But my dad was a Cockney,
Right.
so my family got quite a laugh at the fact that they had my dad saying, "Your mammy's all upset for you," you know. And of course, my mum, you know, had her like sort of all downtrodden with the curlers in. She wasn't impressed by that at all. Look what they've done to me.
Was she hoping for Amanda Holden?
Well, my mum was quite sort of, quite glamorous and quite vibrant, and she wasn't impressed by that at all.
I suppose they wanted you as this glamorous flower that had grown amongst the rocks. And
which is not really true. But and also there was no I've got 4 brothers and 1 sister. There was no sign of them at all in the piece.
Right.
I think they kind of scrimped in certain areas and then sort of overdid it in other areas.
I like the squats looked quite like nice stately homes as well.
Well, they were not far from here in
really?
Great Burton, Carburton Street and Warren Street. The thing is, I think the mistake they made is they kept jumping decades. They should have just stuck with the 70s instead of doing the drugs thing. I think that was a mistake. So then they could have spent more money on the rest of it.
Drugs thing?
Yeah,
it's not on my notes.
Exactly.
Can I say there is a sentence on my notes that says George's life has not been without controversy?
I wish people would just say that and then move on. You know what I mean?
So, who else is on the Here and Now tour?
I've got a list here. Jimmy Somerville, Jason Donovan, Belinda Carlisle, Midge, Flock of Seagulls, and Pepsi and Shirley.
Oh, I used to love Pepsi and Shirley. I'm going to go to that, Frank.
Didn't one
I'll be in the front row.
of them married Martin Kemp, didn't they?
Yes, Shirley.
I
think it was Shirley.
It's always a surprise, when you do see a lot of these acts, because you just wonder what they'll be like. And actually, Jimmy, the last one I did with Jimmy Somerville, he was amazing.
Really?
Absolutely fantastic.
And is he still hitting those notes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
sounds like a record. He hasn't done it. I think he hasn't played for about 13, 14 years.
Really?
So, yeah, he's really good.
Can I say George is wearing, by the way, in case you're wondering, a red fake fur jumpsuit and a canoe, which he's forced 2 armholes in, so he's wearing it as a kind of a shrug this morning. No, you're actually incredibly... If you dress down, do you not get recognised?
Well, the tattoos...
There is a lot of tattooing.
Yeah, the tattoos...
But maybe with a beanie hat or something, maybe.
Yeah, I think if I put my hood up, which I sometimes do on the tube, people don't recognise me. But the minute they see the tattoos, or my eyes, I usually wear sunglasses.
Or you speak, I'm guessing.
Yeah, my voice really gives me away. I've actually had operators on the phone say, "Hey, boy, George."
I thought you was going to say you've had an operation to change your voice. That'd be a risky business, wasn't it? Well, look, this is a bit late, but it's great to have you back, if that's an odd thing to say. But so best of luck with the single. Pentonville Blues is out on Monday.
Yeah.
We've already had someone text in saying, Frank, that song was brilliant.
There you go. I don't know how you did that, George, without us noticing. So, thank you very much, and that was Boy George.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Okay.
I love Boy George. Wasn't he great?
Oh,
he was lovely.
He's paying his debts. Forget about it now.
Exactly.
Okay, so what else? Any
there's a text in that I liked from Liza from Reigate, who says, my friend thinks perhaps everyone on the surface, this is about the miners, my friend thinks everyone on the surface...
I like on the surface.
Should have been dressed in Planet of the Apes outfits. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know why that's good, but I do like it.
No, it is, because then they'd think the Earth had been taken over.
I think...
they'd all come up and go, "Oh, you damn dirty apes!"
I think for the last 3 or 4, maybe... They should have hidden when they came out, so they thought, "Oh, everyone's gone now." They got bored. The other one, and also the president. He's got a nice smile, hasn't he? He's done the bleaching.
Oh yeah.
Think myself. Look, they got the shades on. He did. He had the Simon Cowell smile. I don't want that from a politician.
I like the high maintenance wife as well, enjoying the publicity and her moment in the
there was a bit where
spotlight.
she applauded and she slightly blocked the president in the camera, and he physically pushed her out the way. That was a little hint in what their marriage is like.
Yeah,
in the very midst of the miners' celebrations. So, did you see the thing about some dogs are optimistic and some dogs are pessimistic?
Oh, let's call the whole thing
rough. Yeah, I found it very... They did experiments. So what they did, they used to put the dog's food in a certain spot every day, and then a certain spot. I'm not referring to an actual dog. and then they moved it to another spot, and then they showed them where that was. And then, so when they did the whole process, one dog would come in, it would see that its food wasn't there, it would run off excitedly to spot B to get it, just knowing it would be there. Some dogs come in, they see there's no bowl and think, oh, that's it. I'm never going to get fed again.
So interesting. So dogs are either optimists or pessimists.
It's a bit like me and Gareth. We're like, in that respect.
Which are you?
Well, I think I'm quite an optimist. Don't you? Oh, you've all gone all quiet.
Yeah,
I think I am.
And I'm a little bit.
And you're
Can
a
you
bit
have a look at this contact lens is a bit...
no.
Oh, God.
Oh, an Oh, sorry. My microphone is...
I wondered why that dog was inspecting your eyes. No, it's some dogs are optimists.
Oh, I thought they were optometrists.
Trying to save some money by getting that Labrador.
I would quite like to
lick
see
your
Frank,
eyeballs.
in the there are sort of show dogs, really, I call them, because we talk about them so often at Shep and the other one that you had.
Shep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what were they?
What was Shep an optimist?
I think Shep was definitely an optimist. I remember sitting in the house once and I heard this terrible clonking noise, which I found a bit worrying. It sounded like ghostly footsteps. And the door, which was already open, creaks up a little further, and Shep, a Staffordshire Bull Terrier, black, grey muzzled at the end, deaf, actually. It was great when he was deaf. You could sit on the step, you could get right behind him and go, ooh, grab him, and he never heard you. Anyway, what's the point of having a pet if you can't taunt them? So, I heard and I thought, oh my God, who's this? And you know, on a slip-on shoe, there's like a leather gusset behind the front panel.
Yeah.
Shep had got his back leg in between the leather gusset and was walking with a size 9 brown slip on the back leg. I think it was a hint that he wanted to go for a walk. I think he was putting that... And optimistically, he was right. It did work.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has got something of the... she's the most pessimistic person.
Well, I was going to say, your girlfriend's got something of that sound effect at the moment when she walks down the corridor.
Yeah, she has with her poor broken toe. Can I say, get well soon, Kath, if you're listening. But she, look, we had a row yesterday. And we can have a row about whether I put sugar in the tea or not. And she'll say, look, let's, obviously it's not working. Let's just face it, we might as well split up. Been together 10 years. So that doesn't help. Can I say, last week... As I said, do you like the music I played? She said, I wasn't sure about that Katie Turnstile.
Kath malapropism.
Oh, I love her so. So, look, that's the end of the show, and thank you very much for listening. Next week, our guest is the magnificent Tim Key, who I had dinner with the other night. That's the sort of deep research I've started doing on our guests. You can listen to Not the Weekend podcast on Wednesday. No, not just. There was a whole host of people. I won't name drop you to death. Speaking of name dropping, Ben Jones is next. And, I'm dropping it. I don't mean he drops names. Honestly, anything I say about Ben, I think he's taking it the wrong way. He looks at me. You can feel I'm filling up in the throat.
Like a pessimistic puppy.
Yes, now you see, I'm going to leave it on that. Have you ever seen a pessimistic puppy in a baseball cap? Maybe in some sort of cartoon, but not in the real world. I'm at that stage there where I don't want to go. You know that some weeks I get that I don't want it to end. I just don't want it to end, but it's going to have to end. Good day to you.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Treebor Soft Mints, bringing a softer, mintier feel to your Saturday morning.
Absolute Radio.